Hey everybody, it's Ted Bogert. Welcome back to Transformation Talk, one of my favorite series, if not my favorite series I have right now on the TED Show. And I am with my co-hostess, with the mostest, the one and only Donna Morton Morgan with Inner Vibez Consulting. And she's also a real estate pro, a community advocate. She does so many great things and has one of those amazing backgrounds back there that I love. And then our guest this week, our special guest is Dr. Rosemarie Solomon. She's a TV lady. She's a pastor. She's an impactor. She's an influencer. She is going to talk about her transformation and what she's doing to transform others' lives in our community and the world. Welcome, ladies. How are you all today?
I'm doing wonderful.
Good. I'm excited. All right. Donna, before we introduce and get more into what Dr. Solomon does, tell our audience a little bit about you and our wonderful show that we're doing.
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Donna Morton Morgan, and I'm a real estate broker, CEO, president of Women of Culture Incorporated, Caribbean American Diaspora Alliance. I'm a spiritual development coach at Inner Vibez Consulting, because, we have to always be working on the spiritual self. Amen. And I am a global community outreach advocate. I'm so happy to bring on Dr. Rosemarie Solomon. Met her years ago, and she's a woman that wears several hats like myself and has a love for community, have a love for empowering women, because you guys know that when we empower the woman, we empower the household, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That woman will get to that man or that household. So we kind of do like a one, and it goes 1, 2, 3. Because the men won't come out and participate, but empower that woman, and that family, household is going to get transformed. So transformation talk, it's all about struggles. We've all had some sort of struggle in our lives, mm-hmm. Whether it's addiction, whether it's abuse, something that we've had to deal with, some type of trial, some type of test. And for those that make it through, because some people give up, some people don't make it through.
It's true.
How are they then using that struggle, the pain, to now have an impact, not just on their personal life, but now take it back out in the community and share? And we love to just hear, and it's going to be different roads, right? But yes, we love to share. We love to hear how you have pulled yourself up. How did you pull yourself up? And how are you now pulling others up? So with that, we welcome Dr.
That's an intro. And she's wearing one of those cool hats today, I can tell you. You're talking about wearing a whole bunch of different hats. Hi, Dr. Solomon.
Hi, Ted. First, I just want to thank you, Ted and Donna, for having me in the show and today. Ted may not remember, but I met Ted a long time ago when I was doing the Orlando Housewife.
I absolutely do. That's why as soon as I said Dr. Solomon, I'm like, there's only one. I said, absolutely. I'm so excited that I finally get to interview you and we get to talk, because you have such a great story and such a great journey that I think people can learn.
Yes. And the key about transformation, yourself, can talk about myself. I'm from Jamaica. I came from the island of Jamaica over 50 years ago, I think. I came to this country. And when I came to this country, with a passion and a dream. But it wasn't work how I thought it was when I first came. And you talk about transformation. I thank God for where I was and where I am today. And I could go back, as a song said, when I look back over my life and I see where I come from and where I am today, I just want to say, Lord, I thank you. Coming to this country, Ted and Donna, when I came here as an immigrant. struggling. You know, I never say I grew up poor, but I always say in the island of Jamaica, I grew up on the other side. But for me coming here, I was a housekeeper. Not just I was a housekeeper, but I was working for a madam at the time I didn't know. And I'm not ashamed to say it because it's in my book. And I never know who was this person until one day a family member came over. He said to me, "Do you know who I'm working for?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, she's a madam." I said, "What is a madam?" Because at the ages 17, 18, I don't know that. I never heard the word before, not in my time of life growing up in Jamaica. But I worked for this lady, and I used to wash dirty panty with my hand. And I was wondering to myself, why every day I was going to work. Before I do the housework, it was about 2 to 250 panty in that house that I have to wash with my hand. And I'm just keeping it real, but I was washing those dirty panty, knowing that it was not going to be always washing panty. But I never forgot. She used to call me all the time, "Miss Phillip, do you wash those panties?" But I couldn't use a dryer. I couldn't use a washing machine. I would wash them with my hand. I got to fold them. I got to spread them on the bed, and they would dry. And building up, make a long story short, every day for 2 years, I worked for this individual. But I remember one day, it was so many panties. And I'm like, "Okay, God," but I washed them. Little did I know that what they call a madam was a person that over all the, I don't know, you want to put it, can I keep it real, prostitute? They go and they do their thing and they come back to her home. This was a mansion and they left it. So I was the one to clean them up that they could get them to wear the next day.
Wow.
And I tell you, sometimes when I look back over my life, I get tear up because it was hard. And I remember one day I washed over 200 panties. I'm keeping it real, y'all, because y'all know I keep it real. And I laid them out. It was raining, and I believe that was the day God was saying it's time to go. I washed those panties, put them out. She called me. She said, "Did?" I said, "Yes, I did." And that day, I never looked back when I left. And I remember leaving the home. I put the key under the map and I went to the bus stop. Didn't have a phone. Back those days, you have a beeper. And I was in the rain, didn't have an umbrella, didn't have a car. I don't know the drive, was walking to the bus stop. It was pouring down rain. And there was a young lady that was sitting at the bus stop. She said to me, "Could you come under my umbrella?" I said, "Sure." She said to me, "What type of work you do?" I said, "My housekeeper." She said, "You too pretty to do housework." I say, "Sometimes you just have to do what you have to do." And at that moment, I began a conversation with the young lady. And at that moment, she invited me to come to Miami-Dade Community College. I said, "Okay." She said, "You want to be a nurse?" I said, "I always want to be a nurse." And she invited me. So about a month later, she beat me and I went. But when I went into the school to meet the individual at Miami-Dade Community College, she said, went in, she said, "Well, what can I do for you?" I said, "Well, I was invited here. I want to go to school for nursing." She said to me, "I could not help you because you was an immigrant." I said, "Oh." Right there again, my heart was broken, disappointed, discouraged. I said, "Okay, God, I just leave the job washing panty over 2.5 years. Now the school turned me down, but I didn't give up, Ted and Donna. It was my faith in God." I went on and I got a job at McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's. I was doing 2 jobs. And I remember one day, after 6 months straight talking to the individual at the school, I got a call from her and she said, "Hi." I said, "Hi." I said, "Who's it?" She said, "So, I would love for you to come back to the school." And I said, "Why you want me to come back?" She was like, "When you leave this office, I didn't stop thinking about you." So I went back to see her When I walked in her office, she said the same thing to me. And I said, well, what can you do for me now? You call me back. She said, do you want to go to school? I said, yes. She said, well, how much could you pay? I said, I don't know what you charge. I mean, it's new to me. I want to be a nurse. And she said, could you pay, I think it's $50, $100 a week. I said, well, I don't know. And she said, well, I'm going to sign you up for school. Leaving that office that day, tears begin to run down my heart because this is something that I really want to do. Again, it was my faith in God. Because when the lady told me she couldn't help me, the same lady called me back. Make a long story short, I went out and get another job. So I was working at Burger King. I was a burger flipper. I was working at McDonald's. And I was working at Windy. At Windy, I was a cashier. And I go to school. And I put my way through Miami-Dade Community College. Went on to Barry College. And I'm going to give y'all time to step in. Today, I am a nurse by trade.
Hallelujah.
So sometimes I tell people where you come from don't determine your future.
That's right. And your faith. You talk about your faith a lot. Obviously, that is super important to you. I'm a man of faith. I know Donna is a woman of faith. But it kept you going. Did you grow up in faith? Was faith a part of your early years? Or is that something that you really developed as you got older? Or was it always part of who you are?
It was always part of who I am, because the Bible said, train the child up in the way when they get old, they may not depart from the truth. My mother was a faith walker. My mother was a woman of faith. So she instilled that in us, all the girls, that we cannot walk by sight, but we got to walk by faith. And even when it looked dull, even when men say no, God say yes. So it was my faith. So I listened to my daughter testimony on this show a couple of weeks ago. Just like she get her faith from me, it was my faith from my mother that kept me going, and know that I was not always going to be a panty washer. I was not only going to be a burger flipper. I was not just only going to be a cashier. I was going to be who God called me to be.
Amen.
Yes. You know, Ted, I don't think, we've come across stories, but this is the first time I think we have ever had a panty washer.
Yeah, you are 100% right on that one. I love, as soon as Dr. Solomon said that, this is a good story. And what makes it a great story is because you're showing people that was an interesting place for you to be as a woman of faith, and yet you were just faithful to where you were supposed to be, and you knew God would bring you out of that and into whatever the next adventure that He has planned for you. So how did you you become a nurse, but you have doctor behind your name. So tell us a little bit about that journey.
When I went to finish my nursing school and I came to Orlando, I went back to school and get my doctorate in education. Not only that, my faith led me to where I was the owner of 5 nursing schools to give women the opportunity, young mother, single mother, who want to be in the medical field. Because see, nursing, you gotta have a passion. I do have a passion. So I turned my passion into something to help others. So while at my nursing school, I went on back to get a doctorate degree in education.
Love it. Beautiful.
Wow.
And you had nursing school. So your thought was, it's obviously giving back is important to you, which kind of leads me to you're a community advocate. I read your bio, and of course I know a little bit about you because you are all over the place. You are in the community, on TV. You're really making an impact. So your giving back has become a lifelong passion of yours. I mean, you constantly are in give back mode. How would you help someone who maybe is washing panties or doing something like that, Dr. Solomon? What kind of advice would you give them as far as persevering and being resilient and keep going? Because it's hard, like you said, it's hard. no matter what. Even those of us in faith struggle and fail in that faith sometimes. And so what kind of advice would you give someone who might be in that same similar kind of situation?
The first thing I tell women, because I do that all the time, back in 2010, I give away $60,000 a year in Orlando. I go into the shelter, domestic violence, and change the life of many. But the key thing that I told this lady, where you come from do not determine your future. And when men say no, God say yes. But the key thing you have to have, you got to have perseverance, you got to push. You got to trust God, you got to pray. I understand that He will make a way out of nowhere. But you can't just do it, you got to believe it. And when you believe it, you got to receive it. So my job, what I do now, I do travel and I do empower women. And I let them know, first you got to love yourself. First you got to encourage yourself. You got to look yourself in the mirror every morning and tell them, you are that in a bag of chips. You don't need somebody to define who you are. You know who you are in God. And when you begin to love yourself and encourage yourself and tell yourself that you could do all things through Christ that strengthens you, you could make it. You could become from a panty washer to become a nurse, to become a degree in doctorate, to become a TV host, a radio show, an entrepreneur. You could do that. Not only I go back to Africa, I'm building a center now in Africa to give back, to help women to give birth. I go to Jamaica every year and give back. So if you sit back and took the things that you've been through, become sorry, pity party, you're not going to make it. You got to rise up. You got to get up. You got to look up and live. While you're looking up, God is looking down on you. And that's my encouragement to women.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Amen.
Amazing. Dr. Solomon, tell us in the last couple of years, your focus. And now, you've had the show. Tell us a little snippet about your recent adventures.
Well, for me, I start the Orlando Housewife, Tampa Housewife. Not only that, I'm also a playwright. Donna see my play plenty of time, an award-winning playwright. But I start the Orlando Housewife show because I want to change the face of reality show. I want to empower women, to let them know it don't matter what race, what color, nationality, whatever you are, you could be who God called you to be. And I want a group of women to come together to support, to build. I don't want the show to be like what it is, the fighting and the cussing and the pulling away and the name calling. We are better than that. We are greater than that. We are better together and we need each other. So my concept of my show is about empower each other. But the key thing is to giving back, because so many kids and people out there are less fortunate than us, that we need to give back. So that's what the Orlando Housewife, Tampa Housewife is about. It's about empower one another. I'm not going to say that there's not going to be misunderstanding, but we're going to show the world that we could come together collective, talk about it, fix it, love it out, hug it out. And that's what you'll see on the show is, where I am the executive producer now. And my husband is.
It's amazing.
Wow.
It's amazing. Is it been debuted yet, Dr. Solomon?
Yes, and I have my own network now, TED FRS TV Network. I was on the Now Network for a year. The Now Network picked it up, but now I have my own TV network. This little panty watcher here have our own TV network now. So now I'm getting content to on the show. I have talk show, I have preaching, I have movie. Yes, Ted, I am doing big things. Again, It was my faith. So you could check the show out and FRS TV Network. It's just right up there with all the rest of them. You could download the app and then download it on your TV. Don't tell me God won't do it if you have faith and believe.
Amen to that.
Repeat that again. That was FRS?
Yeah, FRS TV Network, and that stands for Frankie Rose Solomon. That's my own name.
Love it. So you're obviously an advocate, which we've talked about, and you're impacting lives all over. one of the things I love to ask advocates like you, people who I believe other people look up to, who's your hero? When I say that word, who's the first person that comes to mind, Dr. Solomon?
I always say God, but my mother is my hero. Are you talking about someone outside of my family? I really, my mother is my hero because
Why?
she taught me everything that I need to know. She taught me how to love. She taught me how to give up myself. She taught me how to have faith. She taught me how to believe in myself. And even during that time she was in the island, when I was here, she always empowered me, encouraged me to stand on the word of God and believe that he said he would never leave me nor forsake me. He would never put more than what I can bear. So my mother.
And look at the generations now that she's impacting. It's not just you, it's your family, it's your daughter, it's all of the other people. And I think it's always good to recognize that, because you're doing the same thing. When there's another TV host years later and they're going to ask, I guarantee you, Dr. Solomon, your name is going to come up on many lips as being a hero and an advocate. Donna, do you have anything you want to wrap up with?
Just give us a snippet of who, behind the scenes. I know you've got a very supportive husband, children, grandchildren.
Yeah. Well, my husband is my husband is my business partner and who work with me. My children, I have 3 kids. I have 2 girls, very successful. My son, I have 7 grandkids. And the key thing, Donna, the Bible said, a family pray together, stay together. When you have God, your family, and close friend, you could do anything. You could do all things through Christ that strengthen you.
Yeah.
Amen. Amen. All right. Dr. Solomon, tell them one more time, what's the best way they can find you on social media, all the things that they need to know about the network and the shows. What's the best way for them to reach you?
They could reach me at on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. They could call me 321-438-9845. If someone out there wanted to bring a contents to my network, if they want to preach, if they want to do a talk show, if they want to do a movie, whatever they so desire to do, FRS TV is available. We're in the business to put on first class thing. We want children, grandmother, granddad, everybody to sit and to watch it. So my network is a clean network. It's where you could bring, and I always say, Ted and Donna, whatever God put in your belly to give birth, and that's where I'm doing right now. I'm birthing a lot of women on the show who have wanted to do a talk show, but they never got the opportunity. The price is so expensive, but an FRS TV network, you come over here, I will make it right for you.
Beautiful. All right, Donna, how can they best find you and all things Donna Morton Morgan?
Quickest way is probably just to find me on Facebook or IG at Inner Vibez with a Z Consultant, or of course, Donna Morton Morgan. We are doing amazing things in the community with the nonprofit, supporting children of moms. At Women of Culture Incorporated, we support women, children whose moms are incarcerated. We support refugee families, at-risk youth. Life is so much about giving.
Yes, it's awesome. And that's another thing, Donna and Ted, even with the Housewives show, we do that a lot. We go out and we build bike. We give back. We go and we build houses and have those less fortunately we do a lot. So, yeah, and Donna, you're right. It's so awesome when you could give back. Mm-hmm. It is a blessing. It is.
Y'all are a blessing, and now I'm feeling like I'm not doing enough after listening to the things you two do. What a true blessing you both are. Dr. Solomon, I'm so happy to finally have you on the show. Much success. You all go out and support Dr. Solomon, because she's out there supporting you, whether you know it or not. So you have a dream, especially in production or preaching or anything like that, and you want to get your message out. I highly suggest you reach out to Dr. Solomon. Thank you so much for being on Transformation Talk with Donna and I, Dr. Solomon. You all, if you have a story, you have somebody who's motivated you, or you have been transformed and are helping transform other people, we would love to hear from you, because your story will impact and change lives.
Yeah.
Don't think that it won't, because it will. So God bless you both. Thank you
God
so
bless
much
you.
for all you do. We'll see you
Thank
back
you,
next
Donna.
week, everybody.
See you next time.
Have a good one. God bless.